Welcome to The Glitter Effect, a podcast dedicated to shining a light on the movers, shakers, change makers, and all-round living legends of our communities who are making a real difference. On this week's episode of The Glitter Effect, I'm honoured to be joined by someone whose work has truly changed lives. Helen Parker is the founder of the Babes Project. The Babes Project all started with a simple but powerful belief that every woman deserves the support and dignity she needs as she navigates pregnancy and early parenting. What began as a vision has grown into a movement, creating safe spaces and practical programs that empower women during one of the most vulnerable yet transformative times of their lives. Helen's journey has been one of incredible highs and humbling challenges. From grassroots beginning to being recognised nationally with an Order of Australia medal, Helen has remained grounded in her purpose, walking alongside women and reminding us all of the power of community, compassion and courage. Helen Parker, a huge warm welcome to The Glitter Effect.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy day. For those that don't know anything, and this is the first time they've heard about the Babes Project, can you tell us all about what this is, how it came about, and just tell us the journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was in my third year of studying architecture. I was really loving that space, but found myself pregnant and not sure what to do. And so I actually moved home and decided to have my baby. And it was through that whole process that I realised that I needed more than just perhaps a secondhand car seat or a packet of nappies. I actually needed some support.
Yeah.
And what support looked like for me back then was things like, how do I actually become a single parent? What does that look like in my day-to-day? I feel like I was making a somewhat brave decision to be a single, knowing that that was going to be my circumstance. And so I really had to look at what support looked like. I'd had some relationship with the Salvation Army growing up. So I popped in there and two women from the Salvos became my support partners in birth. Neither had had a baby.
Oh, wow.
The three of us were in there on Melbourne Cup Day, 1999, and I gave birth to my daughter. From there, I started conversations with the hospital around my circumstance not being unusual, that many in Australia face similar circumstances where they don't have a lot of support. And so I then started started to put, I guess, some meat to those conversations and those dreams that I had to support women. And then I started a program in that local hospital for a few years, just helping them engage women. I had no experience, but they were pretty certain that I could help them engage women in the programs that they needed. Yeah. So I did that, and then many, many years later, there was still the same challenges in our health system, and so I decided that it was time to start the Babes Project, something that would be a lot more holistic and sit outside of the health system to complement it, but to be its own sort of its own thing.
Yeah. So, and what year was that, Helen?
So we started the Babes Project in 2009. A friend had joined me along the way. We decided to write a constitution with toddlers at our feet, and then surprised that constitution got passed. And that was 2009. And so then we spent 2.5 years researching, learning, and connecting with the community. And that's then we opened our first centre in 2012 in Croydon.
In Croydon, Victoria. And so how did that go? What? Because obviously you were talking to people all that time. Was it a case of waiting for the door to open, or did you know people were coming, or how did that How did you start getting the word out there? Because it's not an easy thing to find people in this position necessarily, is it?
I think we didn't even know what the Babes Project would look like. So in those 2.5 years, we really spent time learning, listening. What are the gaps in our society? How do we not reinvent the wheel? And just really communicating our heart for women and what we did feel the gaps were. And so then when we opened in 2012, we had a local businessman. He gave us a building. He's like, by the way, it is a pawn shop, but he'd shut it down. So we have this cool story of changing the pawn shop sign to a pregnancy center sign. And so that's
brilliant.
Yeah, so it was kind of fun. And then we opened this little centre in Croydon, and the first young woman, 16-year-old, walked in the door and said, I'm pregnant. And I kind of go to say that the floodgates then opened. It wasn't really the floodgates, but we've really had just a flow of women since then, mostly from local hospitals and agencies referring, but also a large cohort that just refer themselves.
Yeah, okay. And is it mainly face-to-face stuff that you do, or do you do anything online to support people outside of those areas?
Yeah, so we do only face-to-face at the moment. We did have a national program just before COVID, but resources meant that was challenging to keep going. And we definitely have things in the one day we'll get to it space, and that is looking at some more online courses for women as well.
Yeah. So how many women on average are you sort of assisting each week, would you say, or at any given time?
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you what it is each week at centres, but we over a year it's around the 120 to 150. And so those women, it is a holistic program. They come to us every fortnight. They also can come to some social lunch programs and workshops. So it is a pretty decent wraparound service, and the numbers can really fluctuate depending on what our capacity is at the time.
And what has been the feedback from these gorgeous women who are clearly quite vulnerable walking through the door too, and young? It would be very overwhelming for them. What's their response?
We just had a mum. I'm in Frankston, the Frankston Centre today, and a mum came in today to have her appointment with her workers, and I snuck out to take a peek because her baby's just been born and he is divine. And so I chatted with her, and then I came back into my office and I heard her say, oh, bye, ladies. I just love coming here. You have taught me everything. And so I stuck my head out again and I said, I want to hear more. And she said, my dad has said to me, wow, you're really good at changing a nappy. And she said, and that's because you've helped me do that. You've helped me learn that. She said, and the way you do it is so helpful. It just is so good here. And that's generally what we hear, that women need the slowed down guidance. They need the slowed down at their own pace opportunity to learn. And that comes without judgment. It comes without anything really except, hey, we're here to help you. And that's what the greatest feedback is that we just helped women be confident to their babies.
Which is beautiful. And like I said offline as before we came on, I am a huge fan of your organisation. I've supported you for many years. I always think when you even tell your story, I've heard you tell it a few times now, but it just completely blindsides me that we're still in the early 2000s that you have come up with this concept that no one has thought about this prior to this. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not like it's the first time people are having babies and finding themselves as single parents. So well done you. Kudos to you for seeing through that. But, it's not that straightforward though, is it? Because there must come a point you must want to do more and more and more, but you've also, like you say, you've got your own family to do. How do you balance that? How do you walk out the door each night and leave it there?
Well, I think most would say, and probably especially my daughters would say I don't.
Yeah. Well, I could imagine it'd be hard.
I think, look, I'm CEO of Babes, but I'm founder CEO. And I think I've learned in recent years that founder piece is really crucial to my story. I have definitely, you know, breathed life into this, and I still feel so connected to it. My girls now are adults, and they can reflect that there was a lot of sacrifice in them seeing their mum run this, but they also both have such a huge awareness of the world around them. They don't travel as much as possible, and they know about giving back and participating to the community. And I think that's really important, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to get balance right all the time.
Yep.
I'm not going to, have everything in its pretty little boxes and really organised. I have a lot of drive and passion to see Babes thrive until the day I decide I've had enough. But I definitely think that unfortunately, we could see something like the Babes Project being needed for a long time into the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And how has it evolved since you first opened your doors to now? Has it changed hugely, or is it still very much in essence quite similar to what you first envisaged it would be?
I think when you run anything for a number of years, you need to make sure you are staying very close to the cause.
Yep.
And keeping that understanding of the cause very you're staying, I'm trying not to use the word relevant, but you are staying close to the issues that women are facing as their needs evolve and change. So Babes has evolved. We started as a bit of a just pop in, we'll support you no matter what. And then we started to hear the same things. And when you hear the same things, you create structure around that. We get better at meeting those needs.
Yep.
We create a program. We now have a very, very fabulous but amazing program that is very structured. We now train our team to run that program.
Yep.
And then we get other opportunities, like we had a funding body fund a new course. And that course was around helping women to be more resilient. So not just looking at baby care and education. Yep. It was going further to say, you're going to be a mum for your whole life. And so how can we help you once you leave Babes make the decisions that are so needed in your parenting journey that your child will need to thrive?
Yep.
And so we have opportunities like that to evolve ourselves just by creating new programs that are responsive to what we're seeing.
That's good. And do you have paid staff and volunteers, or is it predominantly volunteers? How are you set up?
Yeah, we do. We have a small paid staff, and that usually is through different funding agreements that we get. And then we have a huge, beautiful, passionate team of volunteers. I will say that all staff have come from volunteering as well.
Yeah,
we really love this piece that people sign up to participate in that way. And so when some staff role opportunities have come up, they've been able to apply and get those roles. But we have about 30, I want to say, volunteers across the two sites, and then I think 7 or 8 part-time staff.
Wow, that's amazing, which you touched on it in just then answering that question. But funding, so you're, yeah, that's always the fun one with any mission-led organisation. To a degree, do you have any regular funding, or is it predominantly just fundraising and you door knocking? And
Yeah, pretty much. I think, obviously COVID took a lot out of everyone, and that not only drained a lot of charities' funds, but also the ability to create new avenues for funding. So a lot closed down over that time. We were lucky to stay alive, but has taken quite a lot to rebuild that. And we're just really lucky now that, well, we're not lucky. We've worked really hard.
Yeah, give yourself some credit.
To become more sustainable, and we're in a good space now, but it's definitely challenging to find the donors that really believe in what we're doing and understand it enough to be able to contribute. So definitely all private donors, philanthropic trusts.
Yeah. And then, and also on the side of that, you do some really cool fundraising campaigns, or just campaigns, not necessarily just for dollars, which is how I first heard about you. Tell us about some of the things that you do there.
Oh, you could tell us. What's that?
It's not my interview.
The Christmas box.
Yeah,
that's
my favourite one.
So you get to go shopping for a mum. And isn't that the most fun thing, where you can actually, I think you get a list, and that list has been curated based on the things she loves. Part of that came from many years ago. We started to realise that women were providing things for their babies and they had nothing left for themselves. And then at Christmas, the very few friends or even agencies that they were engaged with just providing children's toys and products.
Yeah.
And again, we were seeing women not receiving anything at Christmas. Now, not to say everyone needs something, but it isn't nice to feel seen at Christmas. And I think at that time when loneliness is exacerbated
100%.
and women are often on there with their baby on Christmas morning, it's beautiful for them to have something under the tree. So we ask our community to go shopping on their behalf. We fill this beautiful gift box full of treats that she might like, and then we gift it to her as her Christmas present. And it is beautiful to see the community respond in that way and be able to just share the love with a mum who's pretty vulnerable and doesn't have a lot.
And from a donor's perspective, I love the way how you do it and you profile. But as a donor, we don't actually know who they are. We just have a very good idea of what they like, what they dislike, and have this sort of our own avatar, if you like, of who they are. But trusting in you that's, that it goes to that person. But it's lovely going. I love it. My mum and I have done it for years, as I was saying to you offline. And we go with our shopping list and she'll say, I'll take this, you take that. And we go and find all these beautiful things. And again, it's that, isn't it? It's just that it's simple to those who can do it regularly. But for those who don't have the opportunity to have a Christmas present for themselves on Christmas morning, it's as simple as that. And what else do you do? Do other campaigns and things do you do as well as that one?
Yeah, so we have the two financial campaigns a year. One's our end of financial year and one's in October, which is our Giving Day, which Giving Day is also an opportunity for the community to come and see our centres and to engage in that way. And we usually have people do some speeches and share about their experience at Babes. So that's always beautiful. And we then have Mother's Day. We will often have quite a few different events around Mother's Day, but it's also one of our big campaigns that really just runs as people want to engage in it is our Equip a Mum or Equip a Mama campaign, where people similar to what you do with your mum, they will go out shopping and buy some products for our women, and that would be something like a hospital bag with new baby clothes, some bathing items. And the reason we use these and we request that these are new is when our women don't have a lot, we actually give them to them as gifts, but also use them as tools to educate them.
Yeah.
And don't we all know that when you use a visual prop to teach someone, especially someone who's had significant trauma in their life, you're using, instead of just words, to illustrate what their expectations might be of a baby. So the first thing we do is show them these tiny little grow suits. This is going to be the size of your baby. You will need this many for hospital. And it starts to warm them up to the concept of, oh, hospital's scary, but it's going to be where I meet my baby.
Mm.
And so the Equip a Mama campaign is so powerful because it becomes this beautiful avenue that we use to engage the community in the actual education of. And isn't that what empowerment is? We're giving them a resource and teaching them so they can go further with it. And that's a really beautiful campaign that we always love. We also do have to confess, we love seeing the gorgeous little baby clothes come in. We always have a little gasp over those. They're always stunning.
Oh, that's so good. And look, and I'm sure these women are just so grateful for that too. But at the time, they're muddling through everything else. It's hard, you know. I'm sure they are very grateful. Which leads me on to that other question: is have there been any stories or encounters over the years that have transformed you or your approach with the Babes Project and made it's that aha moment? This is why we do what we do, or are there just too many? You can't recount any.
I think when we stay in touch, or the women choose to stay in touch with us, we say you're always a part of the Babes family.
Yep.
For the women who came through many, many years ago, we're now getting the stories of the first days at school. The first babies born into the Babes Project's programs and now they just started high school this year. And I think what that does for me, and I know for some of the team that have been around that long, is that it reminds us that this is not a Band-Aid solution.
Yeah.
This is not a Band-Aid solution where we offer a packet of nappies or a secondhand car seat. As important as those things are, we have to do better at creating safe spaces for women where they feel they can find community. And that community shows up to get into the grit of their struggles, that takes some of the crisis out of those moments and says, it's okay, we can help you work through this. Because then when their babies are older and they're growing up, they continue to think about those early years. They continue to make decisions in line with what they learnt as a part of our programs. And then it's really beautiful for us to be able to see them thriving, and they come back to us saying, I'm so proud of myself. And that's where I go, wow, like I think Babes is almost addictive because you just get those stories and you think, I'm literally looking at one in my office right now, the first baby born into the Babes Project. And she started high school this year and her mum messaged us with the photos. And this mum came to us 5th generation pregnant by 17. Lots of challenges. And when I say lots, I mean lots. And yet she's raised a family. Her children are thriving. She checked with us several times a year just to tell us about her journey. And that for me is worth every challenge on our end. It's worth every ask that we put out there for $1, because we turn the lights on in our buildings and we pay all sorts of money for insurances and program resources so that we can be that safe space, so that women can thrive all those years later. And that's my favourite part.
That's beautiful. I love that. like you say, it'd be addictive, and but you can tell just your heart. You've got a big heart, and you have to have a big heart to be in a space like this, and not take it all to heart as well, I suppose, because you can't carry everybody's troubles with you. But like you say, if you can see you're helping, that's a massive gift. You're a gift to community. Amazing. Now, on that, we mentioned in the intro, you were presented the Order of Australia Medal in 2019. Is that correct? Is that right? And then you've also recently received a local council for Maroondah Council Award this year. I'm sure there are lots of other awards. I know you don't do this for accolades, but what does the recognition mean to you personally and for the Babes Project?
I think any recognition is always confronting for most of us, isn't it? But I think when we flip that around and think about why it's important, that's really helpful. I think awards are important to shine light on the good in our community. It's also really important to show what a simple yes to participation, what that can do. Mm. And at the recent one, which I think you're referring to, the Freeman of the City of Maroondah, we had a lot of our team there, and I was able to say this, it is so important for people in the community to think about the community they want to be part of. Yeah. And then beyond that, to start participating in the community they want to be a part of. Yep. If there is a problem, if there is a gap, if there is something that you're passionate about in your community, then start it. Do it. Say yes. It may be that you have limited time, so donate. It might be that you have limited resources, so give your time. And I think what awards do is they shine light on the powerful impact that people can have on their local community, because so often we think it's someone else's problem, someone else's job, and we're really good at complaining about it, but we need to get better at doing something ourselves about it. So awards, they're weird, but they can be really powerful too.
Yeah, that's good. And with my PR background, as we were saying before, spot on. You've just won yourself a gold star in the PR world. And what does the future hold now for the Babes Project? I know you've sort of touched on a few things in the next few years. Have you got any exciting plans, or is it just you're happy with where you are?
I wouldn't say we're ever going to be happy with where we are if we're not able to support every woman that reaches out to us, or every community that says, hey, can we have a Babes in your community? We are looking at the moment, we're just starting to do some consulting work to help other people run groups or organisations, whatever scale it is. We're looking to use our expertise to help others do that. And that's really exciting, because what we learnt, especially because we opened a Cairns centre just prior to COVID, and that was amazing for 3 years, but we did have to close that. And that just reminded us that we can't do everything, and we shouldn't do everything, but we can empower others to do everything. So there's definitely some exciting ideas that we have around what growth can look like, what increased capacity can look like, what the next 5 years can look like. And at some point, it would be amazing to find the people to take Babes into a new era, I guess, in the future. Not now, but in the coming years. So, yeah.
And it's always going to be a service that women are going to need. Whether we want to hear that or not, there's always going to be a need. So someone has to do it. And I'd love to see more and more people doing what you're doing across the country and beyond, because I think it's really important. As a mum of 3 boys who I had as a lot of support, I just scratched my head to think how you could do it. I know you have to, but It's just knowing that there are people there who firstly get you and then can support you without judging. You go, it's so important. We call this we're going to move on to something a bit more lighthearted. It's called the glitter effect, and I'm a firm believer that everyone has glitter to spread. They just need to find their purpose, and then once they do, they spread it with heart. And this is exactly what you've done. But with all glitter kings and queens, they don't get there on their own. Has anyone who have been your glitter kings and queens that have inspired you along the way, and what qualities do you try and emulate from them?
Oh, this is such an interesting question because, we've been doing Babes for 16 years and my journey's been even longer. My daughter now is 26. And so there's been a lot of people along the way. There's been people who have showed up to build something or have given me leadership advice or have, gone to advocate for funding. And those people are the change makers that will never really be named. They're the ones that I am so thankful for. I gained so much from. I've learned so much from. But actually, one of the people that I constantly think of is my best friend. She and I were born 9 days apart in the local hospital in New Zealand. And our mums met at, I think they called it Lamar's class back then. So our mums met there. And she works all over the world. She's in Eastern Europe at the moment, and she manages big factories and lots of people. She's a single mum, and she became a single mum after me. But the way she inspires me is wherever she goes, she brings change. She works with thousands and thousands of people. She leads thousands of people. She brings change into factories where we don't always believe or understand what is needed. She raises her son. She speaks out. She advocates for some of the most vulnerable workers in the world, factory workers. And she just, I was saying to one of my colleagues recently, her capacity for leadership, her capacity for change is remarkable. And the best thing about her is she's on a different time zone to me. So I can call her crying in the middle of the night. We share this beautiful connection around leadership, passion, around empowering people. And she keeps me on track, and she is my biggest inspiration. I adore her, and I'm so thankful that, these days we have FaceTime. So
amazing.
And she's just a remarkable human doing amazing things in the world.
Well, I'm a firm believer that like-minded souls attract to each other. So there's no surprise that you've attracted someone like that into your world, because you're very, just from the short amount of time I've known you, I can see that your qualities are very similar. So that's really important to have people like that as well, isn't it? You need, no matter how successful or how powerful you are, you need someone who can keep you grounded and just be there for you.
Yeah, you're very kind in your words, but yeah, absolutely. And I think, when I'm tired and I need to show up, it's amazing to have, I'm looking at them now in our centre, this team that shows up. And in every single one of them is this glitter effect where they have said yes. They do believe in sharing their light and what they have with the community, and literally looking at them now as they've just done some appointments with some really vulnerable people. Yeah. And I'm so proud. I'm so inspired by them. I'm proud of them. And honestly, what is it? The teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh, special, spot on. Now, I can't believe people wouldn't want to, Helen, but if any of our listeners want to find out more about the Babes Project or get involved or support you, where do they do that?
It's thebabesproject.com. Our website can be a good resource. People can see how they can participate. But also there's information around how they can support other women as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Helen, thank you so much for joining me on The Glitter Effect today. Your openness, honesty and courage in sharing both the triumphs and the challenges of your journey with the Babes Project is truly inspiring. The work you've done and continue to do day in, day out has created a ripple effect of hope, dignity and empowerment for so many women and families. Hearing you reflect on the moments that shaped you, the people who lifted you and the recognition you've received along the way reminds us that real change is born from heart, resilience and community. I'm so grateful that you took the time to sit with me today, and I know our listeners will walk away feeling uplifted, challenged and inspired to find ways to sprinkle their own glitter in the world. Thank you again so much, Helen. Keep sparkling as the world needs way more of you in it to make everything shine brighter. It's been an absolute privilege to chat with you today. I wish you and the Babes Project all the very best. Take care.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for joining me, Kate Ganneil, on The Glitter Effect. If you've loved this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep showing up, making an impact, and sprinkling that glitter wherever you go. Bye for now.